2 out of 6, which is 1/3 of the space on that row. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So guys, do you have any questions before I move on? Okay. So I want to show you another example. Let me show you. So I have 4 columns. Does anyone know, in terms of flex property, how I can make it a fixed size? Make it have a fixed size for each of the boxes. So it's a thing called, so let me get rid of this one. It's a thing called flex basis. So I can give it whatever size I want. Let's just say 300 pixels. So right now, I will have, so basically it won't stretch any more than 300 pixels. However, if I minimize it, it will adjust itself because I'm using flex grow. However, if I just remove it, it will be at a fixed size of 300 pixels. Or if I don't want all of them to have a fixed size, I can always maybe for example I want only box 2 to have a fixed size. I can just do this. So only give box 2 flex basis. Right, quick again, 300 pixels. See, you see there? So only box 2 will be size 300 pixels. Any questions, guys? Right, so we've covered flex grow, flex basis. There's another one. Do you guys know which one it is? There's another one. It's called flex shrink. So flex shrink works the opposite way of flex grow, so it will shrink instead. So if I get rid of this one, say for example, I want only 2, 3, and 4 to shrink. So what I could, I don't want flex wrap actually, because I don't want them to go to the next line. So basically, I will give flex grow, box 2, a property of flex shrink. Let's just say 1. Box 3, again, shrink 2, and box 4, flex shrink 3. So we have 3 and 4 that seems to have shrunk, but box 2 didn't. Do you know why, guys? It's because the default value of flex shrink is 1, so therefore it won't do anything. So I don't even need to specify flex shrink for box 2, so I can just ignore that. So only 3 and 4 will shrink.
So you mean that the higher the value is,
yeah,
the smaller eventually the...
Exactly, but however, because of the content of the box, so for example box 4, it cannot shrink any further. Mm-hmm. So I can give this 5, but it won't shrink any further.
You can put 1,000,000?
Basically, yeah, I can put 1,000,000 if I want, but no point. It will still be the same, because it can't shrink any further.
But just because of the size of the screen. If you had a screen of a stadium, of a football stadium, that will work, right?
Mm-hmm. In theory, yeah. Right, guys, any questions? Right, so we covered flex grow, flex basis, and flex shrink. Do you know an easier way to make it shorter? So say for example, I have flex grow of 1, flex shrink of 1, and flex basis of, 200 pixels. I mean, I want to simplify that to one line. Do you know how I can do that? I can use flex 1 I can just use flex. So 1, 1, 200 pixels works the same way as the 3 lines. So if you don't want to waste time, you can always use this property.
What's the order? Is grow,
Yeah.
shrink?
So that's the order: grow, shrink, and basis. So that's the order. So you can't put in basis first, otherwise it just won't work. Any questions, guys? Yeah, go on.
Grow, shrink, basis.
Yeah. Grow, shrink, and basis. Mm-hmm.
And if, for example, just put 200 pixels, it assumes that you are
Yeah. So basically, because the default value of shrink is 1, you don't even need to put. You can ignore that if you want. It still works the same way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, does it make sense?
No.
No?
No. Can you show the browser, please?
Yeah, sure.
Can you shrink it a lot? In theory, is it because of the flex wrap? Because you said that the minimum width is 200 pixels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect items to move.
Yeah,
that.
so I need to activate flex wrap. Yeah,
Ah.
I didn't uncomment that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now that means that the minimum width of every blue box will be at least 200 pixels.
Mm-hmm.
If because of the size of the screen you cannot allocate all the elements in one row, it will move.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Any questions? Yeah. Cool. Right. So let's move on to something. So before we used justify content to align elements horizontally. So for example, flex start, that's the default value. Okay, so we have flex end that will align things from right to left. Do you know how I can align elements vertically? Yeah? Okay, it's a property called align items. So very similar. It's very similar to justify content, just that it aligns element vertically. So I can say flex start. Actually, let's not use wrap. Yeah, not use wrap. So actually, let me give it a height just to make it easier for you guys to see. Right, so here's flex start. It will basically align from top to bottom. What will happen if I give it a value of flex end? So it will go from bottom to top. Again, same question, guys. How do I put it in the middle? How do I align the element in the middle? Here, center. That's it. Center. Cool. Well, the thing is, what if I only want box 2 to move things, for example, to the top, and ignore box 1, 3, and 4? How do I focus on the individual box? So instead of align items, I can use a property called align self. So I'm going to remove align items from the parent container element. And let's just say I want box 2 to be aligned in the center. You see? Box 2 is aligned in the center. Maybe I want box 4 to be aligned from bottom to top. Do you remember what that is, guys? If I want to align the element from bottom to top.
Align end.
Pardon?
Align end? No?
It's flex end. So align self, flex end. or maybe I can do just to let you guys see. I can do align self flex start. Any questions, guys? Does it make sense? Yeah. Just to let you guys know, the default value for align self and align items is stretch. So let's just say box 3 is stretch. Ooh. Let me copy this. So that's align 3 is stretch. So I don't have to type that really, but just for you guys to understand. So even without typing, it will still stay the same because the default value is stretch. Any questions, guys? Cool. Right. Yep. And that's it.
Can we do something?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, sure.
a couple of things from my side. I'm using Flex every single day of my life, all the time, and even in that case, I sometimes struggle to remember if the property I was looking for was justify content or align items, or, because there are some few properties, right? It makes sense. I think it makes perfect sense. But I think to me at least, and this may be a personal thing, it takes me a while to remember every single property. So what do I do whenever I don't remember something? There's a fantastic website that I would like to recommend, which is CSS Tricks. Can you show please, if you go to Google CSS Tricks Flex box?
Tricks, right?
CSS Tricks, the visual representation of how the elements will look like when you apply one property or the other. Yeah. And as I said, that's particularly convenient when you deal with alignment or horizontally, vertically, stretching, flex start, flex end, all these sort of things. Yeah? It's a huge article, so don't try to read it in one evening because you may commit to suicide. But at least for the basis, it's really good. So we can send that link on the Slack channel afterwards.
Yeah,
so
I sent it already. Yeah.
You can send the link. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to say is, would it be possible to run at least 1 or 2 questions of training? Intermediate
I'll do that. Yep, sure.
So all these things about Flex are part of the Codere platform training. So you can test them by yourself. And I believe it's a good way to see whether you really grasp it or not. So it's part of the intermediate program, Flex 1, yeah? Here you go, yeah. All right, so if it's the first time that you see that screen, the way it works is, in the middle, you get a smartphone. So this is the expected result. A, developer. We expect you to build a user interface with 3 boxes. Welcome, then 2, and then flex, right? And then on the right-hand side, it's our responsibility to manage the expectations by typing the appropriate HTML on top and CSS at the bottom. So I don't know, maybe we can do 1 or 2, and then we can leave everyone to read by themselves.
Cool. So we have 3 items, 3 elements here. Do you remember how to create a container and items? So we can create a div, not capital. Div. So is it class name or class? It's under. It says HTML here, the environment. So it should be class. So in React it's class name, but in HTML it's class. Yeah? So let's call it container for now. I'm going to create 3 child elements. So let's call it class item. Right, let me duplicate that. And I will call it welcome for the first one, 2 for the second element, and then flex. Right, guys, how do I make these items flexible? Do you remember? Pardon? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so container the class container and add a property display flex. Right, what's next, guys? So they expect us to have 3 items, and it seems that there's something missing. Right, so let's evaluate first and see if it's correct or not. Once, see. Right, it's taking. Ooh. Oh.
Try again.
Yeah, try again. Yeah, sure. Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Can you copy this email and refresh?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, 1 sec. Let me refresh. So let's try again. So I'm gonna do it again. So container display flex. That's strange.
Yeah, well, something is probably broken. We need to fix that.
Yeah.
We need to have a look.
Mm.
But anyway, apart from that, that's the way that we test Flex, right? You got 5 basic questions of Flex, about moving things around, borders, padding, scatters, all these things. And there is a second training about more complex alignment, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, all these sorts of things. Yeah, I'll have a look to the platform now to see what's going on. But yeah, it used to work, right? So that's pretty much it. Also, in a future session, we'll talk about grid. How you have a grid. Yeah, that's the most sexy feature probably in CSS, in modern CSS. So grid is like the advanced version of Flex. Yeah? Flex is fantastic, but in some particular cases, it struggles a bit. Yeah, struggles a bit. We'll see in which circumstances Flex struggles and why grid is much better to deal with these scenarios.
Okay, and that's it. So, any more questions before we end it? All right, thanks, guys.